Welcome to culture.
Yo, man, I don't think y'all know what it takes to actually get ready for a podcast. Um, Man, you have to move around certain things, especially if you don't have the producers, the interns. You know, you hear a lot of these podcasts talking about they have interns, producers, and you know the shit that money can get you to make your shit pop like you want it to. Yeah, I don't have that right now. But it's cool because it's making me be more creative. It's you know making me get in a producer's mode. You know, and I guess this is something that you have to have whenever you're doing a podcast. You have to have a producer's ear, a producer's eye, a producer's everything. You know what I'm saying? And I guess you're probably in producer mode whenever you put this stuff together. Just a lot of things, you know. And I read and seen a lot of people talk about you shouldn't. Well, not me. But just saying what would make a good podcast, people just saying that, you know, well, you shouldn't say so much. But God damn it, I get stuck sometime and I have to say You know what I'm saying? Like this is like live shit. This is like real shit going on. But yeah, I'm just glad that we learn from different things, different ways. People learn how to adapt to certain situations, and that brings me to my first subject that I want to talk about today. Now, I'm not gonna dwell on the Nipsey Hussle thing. Rest in peace. Do what it do. We all got to take that trip one day. And some of us are going to go a lot, in a lot drastic way. All right. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do, man. We, you know, a lot of us are going to go in a worse way than what Nipsey did. A lot of us have, well, now I'm not gonna say a lot of us, but a lot of people have went in a bad way. But listen, so I'm talking about how we've grown, how we've adapted, and everything. I just want to go back to the things that got us to a point to where we make a person more famous than they were after they pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, there's that I'm gonna have to learn how to stop saying but like I said before, god damn it, sometimes I get stuck and I have to say so might be the title of this podcast. But man, we make people, you know, at first it was Napster, and I'm naming these people, these companies or whatever, to show you how it got to the point of us making a person more famous than they were before they passed. I guess every time I say now I'm gonna point this shit out. I hope not. But we have to we have to look at Napster. Remember when Napster came in and they tried to have it where you could download music, stream music. It was P2P, personal computer to personal computer. File sharing is what they called it when they went to court a couple of times. They called it file sharing. You know, well, it's legal to file share. What that did was that made the artists where they couldn't get as much money as they could off of record sales now, because, you know, black people was coming in and they were killing the record sales. You got, if God forbid, if Michael Jackson had beat it and all of that out when it was file sharing, he wouldn't have got to that diamond record sales. I don't know how much diamond is. Somebody inbox me or something, tell me how much, how many albums you sell when you go diamond. But it was that. It was a lot of companies. I think it was something like LimeWire. LimeWire was one. They used to send out what was it? They used to send out viruses and stuff with that. You had to get the premium version or your computer would fuck up, and it was different things like that. But moving along in time, it became where you had YouTube, different things like that, and that made it where every rapper that thought they could rhyme became a rapper. They put their stuff online. They tell you that, hey, go download my joint, go do this, go do that, and it was, and that's just the way it was. Now I'm gonna give you an example. XX Tentacion, I can't really say his name that well, but we're gonna take him for an example. I never knew the name. I don't know. My son may have played one of his songs. May have. I don't even think my son knew him like that. My son's 17. I don't even think my son knew his music that well. But yeah, when he died, it was like, oh, that's all I'm hearing now is this sad music that he was making. It was so dark and all of that stuff. And shouts out to the young fella, man. It is what it is. But this is like Nipsey Hussle. I heard things about Nipsey Hussle, not really hearing his music. I was just hearing things about him that he was into, what he was doing. But when he passed, it made his music go to number 2 on the billboards. I'm not saying it shouldn't have. I'm just saying this is where, when I say we've grown, we've adapted. See, we've adapted to this part. I remember it was a time to where if you didn't sit by the radio with a tape, a blank tape, hell, it don't have to be a blank tape. It could have been your mama's Manhattan tape, and you put damn tissue down in the corner of it, and you sit by the radio at night, and you have to catch the songs coming on. That's how you made your mixtape. Well, that's how some of us made our mixtape. The majority. A lot of y'all can relate to what I'm talking about right now. That's probably for the little 35 and older. You used to have to sit by the radio station. You had to find that radio station. You had to hear people talking and say, oh, coming up next, LL Cool J, I'm back. Oh, we sitting there waiting with our finger by the pause button because we already had record and play pushed down. Now we're sitting with, record, play, and pause. And we're sitting there waiting for whatever DJ or whatever personality to stop talking, and we hit it. You know what I'm saying? So everybody that's a rapper now, you couldn't have been a rapper then. And I heard Jadakiss say something on the Joe Budden podcast. No, it wasn't the Joe Budden podcast. It was the Joe Budden podcast. It's the Pull Up. Y'all go look it up. It's the Pull Up, Joe Budden and Jadakiss. Jadakiss and Joe Budden have a son that's into music now. And I don't know if they are excited about it, but Jadakiss said something, and I paid attention to what he said and how he said it. He was talking about how his son, not his son, I'm sorry, but the newer music, he tried not to say anything about it because he don't want to be labeled as a hater. He don't want to be labeled. He don't want that label on him because they have this other thing that's called cancel culture. So cancel culture come in and label you and say, okay, well, you need to be. So basically, Jadakiss is holding back punches. See, it to this day, it still take the pioneers to come in and say, hey, look, this is what hip hop is. This is what rap is. This is what R&B is. Because who the fuck sing R&B now? Nobody sings R&B now. I haven't heard a good R&B song where dudes rap, like really coming out there singing. Like we had our Keith Sweats. Oh, man, and I know I'm talking old school. We had our R. Kellys. Even R. Kelly tried to come over and, just an R&B thug, babe, trying to get some love, babe. He stepped it up, but just the real singing, the ballads, the duets, all of that. Where did that shit go? It fell down by the wayside when we got full access to the full net. People like YouTube. People like Facebook, people like, all of these social media places where you can upload music, all this, that, and the third. You can become a singer, rapper, whatever it is, overnight right now, but you still can't become an engineer, a doctor overnight. Just because you can put some shit together don't mean, you still, and I think, if that was put on music, we would see a lot less. If they just took everything away from the internet besides where you had to have certain criterias, not criterias, I'm sorry. You had to have certain, I think I'm gonna have to go back and edit this. This is my first edit at 14:20. So if I could live with the internet if they came and they said, okay, no more uploading music. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if they took YouTube away, and just put up where you couldn't put music on. If you couldn't, I love the do it yourself videos. I love things, but if just couldn't upload music, period, or your IP address would be banned from the internet, and go back to doing it the old way, I would be fine with getting my music from the radio. I'd be fine with, you remember you had to have if you had a cousin that stayed up north, out west, and I'm speaking from the East Coast, Atlanta, South Georgia. If you had a cousin that was up north or out west, and your cousin was cool enough where they could send you different music, different things that we hadn't heard down here or over here, man, you was the shit. You was the shit. Like that's like having a Benz in the hood. If you can have that new mixtape, it was like having a Benz, and it was like having a Benz. You was the shit. But it's not like that now. Like at the push of a button, Joe Blow can go in there and say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, and Y, and Z. And he put that shit out behind a good beat, and now he the best rapper in the world. You understand how that works? That's not the way it... Anyway, I kind of took myself back when I was talking about about having a cousin up north and out west, and you would be super dope if you had cousins both ways, out west and from up north, and that's just how music has changed things, man. I don't like to stay on music that much because I know it's it's a long list of how people feel about music, how they feel about artists, and, being an artist and different things like that. But I do remember we used to say, and I don't know, maybe some New York people that listen to this can clear this up. From being down south, we used to say, we used to tell each other as artists, and yo, man, if you stayed in New York, you could be rich, popular in New York, and nobody else in the world know you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was just up there in New York, it was enough circuits and shit circulating around right up there to where you could be platinum. Like you could be platinum up there. Nobody know you in the South. Nobody know you in the West. Nobody know you Midwest. Nobody know you besides New York. And you could be rich. You could be popular. You could just be the shit. But you come up out of there and it's like nothing. I seen that shit happen. Dipset wasn't really big down south and out west. They really wasn't that big, but there was the shit. Or probably still is the shit up in New York. You say Jim Jones down here, only people from up north, the only people that's tuning in and antennas going up when you say Jim Jones is people that's the move from New York down to South Georgia or out west, and they know what Dipset, they know what time it is with Dipset, diplomats. You know what I'm saying? Like I can say Sticky Fingers right now. As a matter of fact, some very disrespectful shit happened to Sticky Fingers. I don't know. You know what? Is it Sticky? I'm not even going to report on that because it may not have been Sticky Fingers. But it was an incident with Kodak Black and I think Sticky Fingers. I should have researched this before, but I didn't know I was going to talk about that. But he supposedly had slapped Sticky Fingers, took his gun and some shit, yeah. There go that arm again. But I don't know. I mean, speaking of how things have changed and the way you can view things, one thing I'm so happy about, I'm so happy that Beyonce opened up her book a little bit. So some of her fans, some of the people that think they Beyonce, golly. Look, I see it in women's eyes. When they're singing Beyonce, they really think they are Beyonce when they singing her song or songs. Just check out the next woman that you see singing Beyonce and really into it. They flicking hair that they don't have. I'm talking about the ones that just had forgot to get a do this weekend, whatever. And when they singing, they pop, 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 pop. You know what I'm saying? But I'm so glad she did this this live. I can't think of the name, but it's on Netflix. I'm so glad she did it. She told everybody how she stopped eating meat, sweets, bread, dairy. She did that to get that body that she got right now. And I know some of y'all Beyonce people, women that think y'all Beyonce, some of y'all men too. Some of y'all men think y'all Beyonce too. But I'm so glad that she let that part of her life out. So I can sit back and I can watch Beyonce do her thing and watch y'all mad at her. Deep down inside you mad because like, I thought, I really... Ladies, don't kill yourself out there trying to get on this diet that Beyonce was doing. Believe me, she had some very expensive physicians advising her, checking her vitals, making sure things was going good with her. Don't get out there and just take yourself off meat, everything. A lot of people just can't go straight vegetarian. A lot of people can't. She wasn't even doing that. She was just drinking water. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like real strict with it. But don't get out there doing it, because a lot of y'all gonna fall out. A lot of y'all gonna kill yourself trying to duplicate what Beyonce did. Which she did a pretty good job though, right? She was like 218, and she was kind of thick. You seen the thick? That was a thick Beyonce. And when she called Jay-Z and was on FaceTime or whatever, she was like, "Hey, I'm back in this outfit," and she was all right. She was good. But don't try that shit, y'all. That shit really you have to be monitored and everything. And seeing Beyonce evolve, and I got this little take from Joe Budden, from the Joe Budden podcast. I really, really, really think that she is gonna come out with some music that I can listen to, that I wouldn't mind blaring in my speakers. I really think it's coming to that. She's very in tune. I knew she was in tune with her blackness. I knew she was I knew she was in that realm of people years ago. But I can hear a little bit of it in her music. She still got that, that thing that I don't like about her. But I don't even know what it is. It ain't on no Eric Holder shit. But yeah, it's still that thing that I don't like about her. But I feel like she's gonna come out with an album sometime soon that I wouldn't mind pumping. I hate to say pumping. That sounds so old, but you know what I'm saying. Like you might hear me playing one of these Beyonce songs. I've heard her and Jay-Z, get loose on a track one time, but it wasn't nothing that because she sounded too much like Jay-Z. Jay-Z definitely wrote that the rhymes for her that I heard. I think that Bonnie and Clyde joint. Yeah, that's some whole shit. So, but man, that and we talking about evolving. We talking about that's a good thing, man. Like, I don't like bass that much no more. I used to have 15s. As a matter of fact, I had 118 in my trunk one time. I don't like that bass no more. I have other shit to do with my ears. When I'm driving, I gotta listen for other shit. I don't need to hear that bass boom, boom, boom. Now I like to turn it up sometime, you know what I'm saying, and hear it for a little while. But it is not gonna cost for me to go out and put a box of 15s in my trunk and all this other stuff. Rims. I still see people with big rims. That's crazy. And this is another thing about, and from New York to out west. Let me show you how this works. New York to out west. New York always had the cars with, they had Benzes. They like to get Benzes and different things like that. I don't necessarily think they ever glorified hoopties. Y'all remember hoopties? Donks. I don't think they glorified that shit up there. They glorified the Jaguars, the Benzes, with the BBSs, the BBs, you know what I'm saying? Like those are the Saabs. And a Saab really wasn't a high-end car, but they made that shit high. I remember a guy named Steve used to come from up north down to South Georgia, and he had a Saab and everything, and motherfucker was like, "Yo, man, he got that Saab." You know what I'm saying? But we glorified the hoopties, the cars with the, and it came up to where we like the cars with the big rims. Meanwhile, out in the West, they like the cars with the small rims. They had the cars with the hydraulics. I don't like I said, somebody inform me on how that part of the culture was popping during the time where we had big rims. Out west had hydraulics with small rims. We had donks. I think they had older cars, but they always did it bigger than we did it here. We did the knockoff part of paint jobs, and like I said, these guys had hydraulics and stuff. Man, you get a dude down here, if he would have had hydraulics, he was gonna get locked up because he was probably a dope dealer. That's how they wasn't paying, a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old wasn't getting a job where he could get hydraulics put on his car. And then I think that was more of a Mexican thing. Started out as like a Mexican thing. I don't know. People from out in the West, California, y'all holler at me. Let me know if I'm wrong on this or not. Y'all, look, follow me on Culture, on Instagram, Twitter, and y'all hit me up. Let me know. Y'all can even email me at Jesslissen, JESSLISSEN @gmail.com. And y'all let me know if I'm off on that. I don't know. Did y'all have the hoopties in the hood? Did y'all have the donks? Was y'all looking at the Impalas and, different things like that? New York, what was going on up there? Inform the people. I'm pretty sure some people want to know. I know we had we had to follow y'all lead. Y'all always had the shit first. Y'all doing some shit right now that we ain't doing. You know what I'm saying? Like down south, way deep down in the South, where I was raised at. Like I hear a lot of people talking about a juice bar up in New York, probably out in LA or something like that. So, but I can't open a juice bar down south right now because I'll go out of business. So it's gonna take probably about 5 more years. Y'all always about 5-10 years, about 10 years ahead of us on things, like actually doing things. I don't even know many juice bars here in Atlanta. If there's a juice bar in Atlanta, I'm gonna have to Google that. So yeah, if it's a juice bar here in Atlanta, y'all hit me up. Let me know where it's set. I do a lot of my own juicing and everything, but I like to go and see what other people taste buds is, what they doing out there. And that's another thing, man, as far as meeting, like this online thing. I keep telling y'all to get me online, man. Do you know it's very, very hard to meet genuine people online. I know a lot of y'all get into online dating. Shit, it seems like Facebook, Instagram would be the best dating app it is. But they have these dating apps, man, and people get on there that want to, I guess they can say that whoever they are, that's who they are. They say that they're CNA. They say that they're a nurse, but they really a CNA. They say that they this, but they're that. You know what I'm saying? You just get that lopsidedness when you're meeting people online on a dating site. They want you to be the number one, pockets fat, everything good, but on their end, you know what I'm saying? They just somebody else. They ain't really. I guess you can say worthy. I know you can't tell a person what their preferences should be, but you gotta tone that shit down. You gotta tone it down. I got it's people on there that's like 5'2" to say, look, I don't want you to be no less than 6 feet tall or 6 feet tall, bald head, or they actually build a dude that they looking for. And But it's a lot different than meeting people in the grocery store now. You know, you meet somebody in the grocery store, you damn near have to fight them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way it is. Let me see. What did I want to talk about? I want to talk about Gary Owens. Did y'all hear the Gary Owens on Breakfast Club, Brilliant Idiots? And for some reason, I know it's taken off on the Apple podcast, but that Gary Owens interview on Brilliant Idiots is gone. Like, I heard it last Thursday, Friday, somewhere around in there. It was very, you know what I'm saying? They touched a couple of topics. They was talking about him saying, not really saying it, but saying words that's close to nigga. Gary Owens, of course, he's a white comedian that he's married to a black woman. They have a child, I think 2, maybe 3, I don't know. But he told one of his stories on the Wendy Williams show, if y'all, listen to that shit. But no, listen. They were talking about the word, all the words that surround the word nigga. Trigger on a Schwarzenegger, all of that stuff right there. And he said something on there. I don't know if this was the reason it was taken off or what, but I'm pretty sure they could have went in and cut it out. But it was a segment in there when he was Hidden Figures? Yeah, it was hitting. It was they said, he was just making a lot of words, saying a lot of words that, was around that had the IGGR on it. I'll just put it that way. And the Hidden Figures, he said the movie Hidden Figures. And then he came back and said, had a lot of, and he paused and said great actors on there. Great actresses or whatever on there. And I was like, whoa, that was close. So Gary let the nigga word off in the house now. Y'all don't think so? Good question. This is a good question. I hope y'all get back to me online, somewhere online, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. If you are married to someone outside of your race, can they, as a black person, can they even say the word nigga? Can they rap the word nigga? If it's just in the song, can they just say nigga? Do y'all allow that shit to go on in the house? And it's y'all shit. It's, we have absolutely nothing to do with that. I'm just curious. Now, I have a sister and a brother that's married outside of their race. And I haven't asked them that. Maybe that's something that I'll ask them. But do you allow them to rap the song and say nigga when they rapping it? Or if they get mad and be like, man, I hate these niggas. These niggas be fucking up shit. It's got to be something in there where it's got to be a clause in y'all contract or whatever y'all have. It's got to be a clause in there to say, hey, I'm married to you. I can say nigga. You don't think so? Y'all don't think so? Y'all don't think that when you get married, y'all should have a clause in y'all shit to say that whether it's a white person, a Mexican, or whoever, they should be able to say nigga. I think that's the most I've said nigga in one podcast. But Gary Owens, yo, you I do believe that you say the word nigga. That's just between me and you. What else I got for y'all, man? We were having a good talk about, let me see. Oh, this is a good one. So let's just say you people in a relationship right now, you people that's in a relationship, if you found out, which some of you do, a lot of you do, but you just find out that your other half is sexually involved with someone else, but they with you. Now, this might sound like some pimp talk, but it's not. It really makes sense if you think about it. If you take all of this wanna be a pimp shit to the side, if you put all this cheating shit to the side, and you really think about what I'm about to tell you, it makes so much sense that it's crazy. So let's just, like I said, let's just take you people that's in a relationship. Find out that your partner is fucking somebody else. Is screwing somebody else. I don't know. This my shit. I cuss. I can say what the fuck I want to say. So you find out that they're in bed. That they're laying down. That they're giving up the cookies. They're giving up the wood. They're giving up the stick. Whatever to somebody else. But they are spending their time with you. They're coming home to you. They're telling you that they love you. They are with you. They've been with you for a long time. They got to fucking love you. They got to love you because they just found good sex somewhere else. And I know I'm saying this. I don't know how I would take that shit. But this is logical. This is a logical explanation here. They just found good sex somewhere else. But everything else they like about you. Now think about that for a second. Think about that. As long as you want, I'm going to let that sit there. I'm going to let that marinate. But it's got to be some truth to this. Now, whether you want to take it and flip it around and say that I'm trying to be a player, a pimp, or whatever it is. But just remember, they only really want to be with you. You just may not have good sex. You may not have good sex. You may not have the best sex. I mean, it's just some things you just can't get used to. Just think about it. And speaking of, I'm not gonna say I have the best sex in the world, but for those of you that watch porn, don't you just wonder sometimes, wait a minute, man, I really don't get that shit. First of all, wait. Let's back up. We're going to back up. We're going to take this. We're going to put this shit in reverse. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever thought about your parents having sex, but this is more logical shit I want you to think about. Okay? Now, your parent, just picture those of you that's got caught having sex in your parents' house, whether it was your mama catch you or your daddy catch you. How do you think that image lasted in their mind? How do you think that image? Do you think they could eat the next day? Do you think they could eat? Do you think they had to, is it something that they went and they cried about? Excuse me. I hate mosquitoes. But do you think it's something that they went and cried about? Do you think it's something that stayed on their mind? Every time they looked at you, they was like, oh my God, I caught my baby with her ass up in the air. Oh my God, I caught my son, long stroking. You know what I'm saying? Now I want you to think about it though. That same feeling you get when you think about your parents, when you get, not catching your parents with, a lot of us from a single parent home, so and a lot of us, you got to think. You got to think about what age your parents are right now or what age your parents was back then. To think about them having sex, that's the same feeling they had when they caught you or when you came and told them you was pregnant or when you came and told them you was about to, your girlfriend was pregnant or something like that. That vision Am, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Like you have to vision your parents fucking because you know they had to fuck to get you. And if they ain't with your daddy or they ain't with your mama, what you think they doing? Oh, you gonna picture them with their toys? So you gotta know that when they see, you know, if you with your mama or if you with your daddy and your daddy, you know, look at a young lady, not a young lady, I'm sorry, this ain't no R. Kelly shit. But, you know, he look at this lady and he be like, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? Or your mama looking, she bat her eyes at somebody and like, thank you. More than likely she wanna, you know, she probably wanna fuck him. And more than likely your daddy probably wanna fuck her, you know? Not your mama, but your daddy wanna fuck this other little girl that he, you know, looking at walking by and shit. You know? This is just, I hate to put that image in your head, but shit, we gotta, hey, this is life. We grown. And a lot of y'all growing up. Yeah, you thought it was cute when your mama caught you. You know, you thought it was cool when you say, yeah, man, when mama came in and caught us, man, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. But you didn't think. You didn't think that your mama had that thought in her head. Do your mama supposed to be cool with it? Be like, oh, you know, your mama quick to say, oh, boy, I done seen what you got. I was, you know, you came out of me. I seen what you had for all these years, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but mama, you ain't seen this motherfucker stand up and do work. I'm probably gonna get kicked off the internet for this. But yeah. If you picture that, that's what your mama or your daddy felt like whenever you either caught them or, you know, they tell you, I'm going out with the girl. Oh, if you ever heard that they going out with the girls, more than likely, she went out and got some dick. If you ever heard your daddy say, well, I'm going out to the bar with the fellas, more than likely, he was laid up in a woman's bed, or he was laid up in a motel bed, and you know he was doing the thing. Y'all got it. I don't know, man. Maybe that's my mind. Maybe that's the way I'm seeing things, you know, happen. Excuse me. What else? I take a lot of notes on my pad, so don't sit here and don't judge me on that. What else is it to talk about out there in the news? Whitney Houston friend and Robin Crawford. She is actually writing a book about her and Whitney. Remember, what was Bobby Brown said that Whitney, you know, like women, you know, she was bisexual, but she didn't want her parents to know that, you know, she was getting down like that. And almost 10 years later, here goes nothing. She finna go for it. Her friend is like, look, Whitney ain't here. She shit, I done went down. I'm driving me a Honda Civic now. I need to write a book, whether this shit is the truth or a lie. I'm writing a book, and I'm going to say that me and Whitney bumped uglies or bumped pretties. I don't know if they pretty. I don't know if they pretty or not. But that's what they did. I'm assuming, you know, it's not saying that that's what she's going to come out and say. I'm just assuming that, you know, that's where it's going. Bobby Brown called it like it was. And let me see if I can call somebody. I said I was going to do a phone call today and see what's popping. Let's see. Calling my homie down pat. I'm gonna have to get a better system, a better way of doing this. He ain't answering. All right, one more person I'm gonna call. See what's popping. I'm just gonna start chopping it up with her. Then I'm gonna let her know that I'm recording.
Hello, my friend.
What's going on, Charone?
Nothing was going on, T-Mac.
Man, just cooling. What's happening out there? You out there at it?
No, not yet. I'm actually was staying in this morning to do a little piece of my podcast. Like I wasn't gonna do one, just kind of put out a little, like I'll be back in a few minutes, just kind of a little piece. And they decided to do yard work outside my apartment. They got the weed eaters in the bushes under my apartment. They cut the grass out here, so it's super loud. So I gotta wait on them to finish before I can do it.
The struggles of a podcaster.
Exactly.
Man, don't you listen? Don't you think it's dope to have friends that do podcasts and different things like that? The same, you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of dope, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, it's real dope. Like, I mean, you got somebody that understands, like, because I do have friends that don't do podcasts that don't even know what a podcast is. So when I say something about my podcast, they're like, what's that? Or, how do I find that? So, it's kind of cool when you got somebody that understand, like, you know what I'm saying? Just the whole process, what it's about or whatever,
right.
That gets you, you know what I'm saying?
So how many people, how many people do a podcast?
Well, let's see. I have a friend, and I don't even know if she knows I know she does it, because we were friends in Kansas City, and she moved out of state, I moved out of state, and I follow her podcast. She's got like a health and wellness kind of podcast.
Right.
And she gives like these daily inspirations. She's like 100 days of self-love and fitness. So, I follow her for inspiration. I'm actually going to try to do my own 100-day challenge eventually. But my brother is a podcast producer. So he has several podcasts of his own. Like he's on one with his wife. He's on one with a couple of guys. They do like a sports one. And so I've always followed his podcast, the different ones that he does. But now I actually follow some of the ones that he produces. Like he gets paid to do podcasts, to like help other people make their podcast happen.
So he's a...
Then there's you, of course. So I don't know, I have a few, just not a lot.
So he's a producer. So your brother is a producer.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He's been in radio and broadcasting for years. He actually started his own gospel Christian radio show radio station, some years back. I don't think he has a radio station anymore, but that was like a house for a few of his podcasts at the time. So yeah, he actually got me started. He did my first podcast with me, and got me started or whatever. But one of my favorite ones right now is the Dame Truth. Like this girl, she reminds me of me. Like, so I listen to her, and I don't know her yet, but she's like my friend in my head. So,
but you know what? But listen. What you just said is exactly how people are when they listen to podcasts. They kind of find something in that person. They be like, you know what? That's me. Or I can relate to that. And they become friends in their head.
Yeah. I think that's what got me podcasting, is that listening to like even yours, even when you did like In the Garage and stuff, to me that was kind of like podcasty, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like listening and like with yours, at least we got to participate because it was a live show, whatever. We did get to participate, but listening to other podcasts, I'm hearing them talk. I want to participate. I want to like give them kudos on what they just said, or you know what I'm saying, validate it. Or I might have an argument against what they just said, or you know, so it's like when you start getting in a podcast and listening to somebody like every day or every week or how often that podcast comes on, you kind of, you know, you kind of feel like you built a relationship with this person because you've had these conversations in your head with them.
Right, and plus you giving them your time. Shit, I mean, if they podcast is an hour and you sitting down listening to an hour of they podcast, hey, look, man, you go together.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's like I got a whole world of friends out there that don't know me yet. You know, they haven't met me.
And that's the crazy thing about your podcast, because you probably don't know that you're friends with somebody in their head.
I hope so. I hope I get to be a lot of people's friends in their head. I don't know.
Oh no. It happens because listen, even though we don't think of, even me and you may not think alike, but it's somebody out there that think, it's a lot of people out there that millions of people out there that think just like you. It's millions of people out there that think just like me. So you know what I'm saying? We just have to tag them in the right stuff. We got to put the right hashtags. We got to put, you know, whenever we putting it out there, you know, we got to put those tags on there so those people will be alerted. Like, oh, they talking about dick and pussy. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Because I listen to whether you know this may sound odd, but I listen to this podcast called Lip Service. And yeah, so you know, a lot of people when I say that when I tell people that I listen to that, they like, you listen to a bunch of girls, but you know, it's interesting because they telling a lot of shit that people probably wouldn't talk about, you know, in a conversation, in a regular conversation. I know I wouldn't talk to you about a lot of the things that they talking about in regular conversation. They talking about pegging dudes. They talking about, you know, hitting dudes in the ass. You know, I'm like,
It gives them information and insight, and I've learned a few things.
so yeah, you know what I'm saying. So Angela Yee, you know, she got some friends, and it's some people have become friends with her in their head out there.
Listen, you know, the funny thing about Angela Yee is listening to the Breakfast Club. I'm not gonna lie, I don't too much care for her personality on the Breakfast Club morning show. I'm not that big on her personality. She seems a little judgy. She seems, you know, or whatever. But then you get on Lip Service, and she's a whole different person. It's like, okay, I can vibe with this shit, you know. So it's weird, like, that they have their separate podcasts, because, like, I listen to, I just love Charlamagne the God. I just do. You know, and I listen to Brilliant Idiots, him and Andrew, is it Andrew Schwartz?
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
Andrew Schultz.
That's what it is. I love that show. I love that podcast. And, you know, what I like about the podcast more than anything is a weird thing. I like Andrew's laugh. His laugh tickles me. I love his laugh.
No, but you know what? It's funny that we listen to the same podcast, because I like Brilliant Idiots too. I don't even think we ever talked about that, right? No. Yeah, that's crazy. I like Brilliant Idiots too, but and I like Charlamagne's and Andrew's chemistry that they have with each other. You know what I'm saying? They have a real good chemistry, and they can make jokes about. You know what? I was just talking about white people black people that's married to people outside of their race. I wonder, and I'm gonna ask you, do you think that they allow them to say nigga? Even, I'm just saying, in a song, you know, the song come on, whatever song that's got nigga in it, and they just go right through that shit and say nigga, and it's cool around the house.
Listen, do I think they allow them to? This is my thing. I think that a person that is married, like say a white person married to a black person, is already sensitive to those type of issues to where they probably wouldn't even say it, just out of respect for the struggle and understanding that, that's probably something I should refrain from saying. However, when you look at, Caucasian people that are friends with black people who grew up in the black hood, they may feel the liberty because all of their boys said it sitting in the streets on the hood, and they just felt like, well, I'm one too. They related a little bit more differently, and they say it, and the people around them allow them, oh yeah, he's like he's one of us, but as far as I don't think they just let them say it. I would check my white husband if I had one on hey, that's sensitive. It bothers my ears.
What the fuck? Not if he done heard you say, boy, I tell you, niggas will fuck up niggas will shoot up a damn movie screen. Not if he done heard you say it.
But he can't say it.
What? No, okay, so you can't say.
You shouldn't say it at all. Nobody should use the word, but especially you can't use the word. So you mean to tell me you could probably sit around if you had a white husband, you could sit around and say, boy, I tell you, them crackers know they be, you could use that? I don't use words like that.
Oh, okay. I was just saying,
Actually sensitive. I grew up when they would say stuff like chinks, honky, and growing up, I would say it as a kid, not knowing just how horrible, those racial slurs were. I don't use the word, what was the word you used? Cracker. I have never used that word.
Okay.
And, I just don't use derogatory slang against any other race, period. I'm really sensitive about that. It doesn't even feel right falling out of my mouth. However, I am guilty of using the N-word, so that's really kind of, maybe I need to reflect on that.
But listen,
I use a derogatory term against my own race and not someone else's. Be sensitive when it comes down to other people. But no, I don't.
So now since you said that, let me tell you what happened. I was on me and Jamila was taking our 4-mile walk yesterday, right? And I don't know. We had we was talking about something, and she said the word midget, and I was like, baby, you can't say that word. That's not politically correct. And she said, and she said, well, what you call them? And I said, I kind of got stuck, and I said, call them little people, And then I said, no, that ain't good either. I said, well, just they're people. So she went into saying, but I call babies little humans. I was like, So I can see where because she don't say nigga or crackers, anything like that, chink, whatever. I ain't never said the word chink. I had to really go back in my brain to see what chink was when you said it.
Yeah. Listen, when it comes down to the midget, I only knew that was bad because I was watching Little Women Atlanta and Little Women LA, and they make a huge deal about that word, being very bad to say. And I'm like, I didn't know that. I grew up and you were a midget. Midgets, that was it.
And
I had no idea it was equivalent to saying nigga or, you know what I'm saying? It was a bad thing to say. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Now listen, I Googled because somebody told me I was a midget or whatever, right? So I Googled it. He's like, Google it, and so I Googled it. The definition when I put midget in, dwarf came up.
Mm-hmm.
Dwarf. No word midget came up in the Google search. Dwarf was the definition, was the word to use. So, come to find out, to be a dwarf or little person is not bad to say. You can say little person. To be a little person or a dwarf, you have to be 4'10" and under.
So,
and I'm 4'8".
So 4'10" and under is considered a dwarf?
A dwarf. Now listen though, from what I understand, it you could just be a really short person. I think and that you would have to get tested for some type of dwarf genes. You know, or whatever. So, like, but if you Google it right now, the only definition I'll give you is 4'10" and under.
Well, now. I just Googled midget. And it said plural noun midgets, an extremely or unusual small person.
So you looked up the definition of it, or did you just Google?
I just Googled midgets and midgets.
What is the legal height for a midget, and dwarf came up.
Oh, well, yeah, I just put midgets in, and it brought up a whole lot of little people, and then it's like, you know, going into, and I hear people hear the M word, so the M word was never
saying anything like it's the wrong word, or is it just defining it, this is what it is? Because that was my experience when I put in what is the legal height for a midget. Dwarf came up, and I didn't get the word midget.
Okay, yeah, it does. It, you know, strolling on down into it say midget is an offensive term for someone who is much smaller than average. Why midget is offensive to people with dwarfism. So yeah, I see where it's talking about that, but when, like, the first thing that pop up though is, hey, small people.
The dwarfs are little people. Come up under that term. I get it. I didn't put in the term. I just put in legal height.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So I guess according to height, I would be considered a little person.
and I'm gonna tell you what I don't. And I'm gonna tell you what I don't want to do. I don't want to be, because I believe in reincarnation. You believe in reincarnation?
You know what? I'm really starting to like. Yeah, I do, because I do believe in previous lives. So I guess you know, it's funny from the reverse side of it. I believe in previous lives, so I guess that means I would have to believe in reincarnation.
Right. And I don't want to be that person that have something. Cause see, I believe in, like, the reincarnation thing. The reason I believe in reincarnation, because I don't believe this is it for me. I know I'm 42 years old. And I probably don't have enough time to be all the shit that I want to be right now. You know, so the knowledge that I've came into, of knowing how to do things. Okay, well, you're going to run out of body time. I'm going to run out of body time. But, because you've seen these little babies that's born that you be like, oh, they've been here before. You know, they do stuff that grown-ups don't do, or they say things that grown-ups don't say, and you like, yo, they've been here before. Right. So that's what made me really believe in reincarnation. I guess by looking at my kids and looking at paying attention to other people's kids, and they saying and doing stuff, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna come back. So I gotta build up all of this stuff now. And the way that they say that this happens, Charone, is crazy. You gotta look this up. It's like, okay, you're born, and they say when you die, like, you're born again somewhere else or whatever, and you have these memories, but you're not able to talk, so you can't tell them. That's why, the babies are reaching at people's face and making these, you know what I'm saying? They trying to talk, but through learning and everything, because you losing some of your memory, not really losing the memory, but can't remember certain things now, right? So that's how the babies are. When the babies are born, they're actually losing memory, not remembering things, and learning more things compiled on top of that. And by the time they're able to talk and stuff, okay, now they know that, mama, daddy, learning this whole new thing about life. But they remembered when they was reincarnated, when they came back. You get what I'm saying?
Right. No. I'm completely with you on this. There is and I wish I knew his name. There is a psychiatrist, psychologist. I'm not sure the difference of what he was. However, he was on Super Soul Sunday a few years back, right? Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how he helps people with certain phobias. So basically, people were not getting breakthroughs. They were scared of water. They were scared of just different things, or having these setbacks, these blocks. And somehow he was introduced to the idea of hypnosis, and hypnotizing people to kind of bring out what the problem is. The thing is, when he started hypnotizing people, I think he started with his daughter or something like that. Anyway, she goes back further than her own life. She goes back to her previous life, and she's a little boy who drowns or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that unlocked the phobia. Like, she's like, it was me, but I was a little boy, you know? So, and I don't know if I'm telling the story correctly, you know, it was something like this, you know what I'm saying? It could have been somebody else, not her daughter. But the point is that he began to hypnotize people and take them back to their previous lives, and it literally would take them to the place where whatever tragedy happened. And so for me, you know, just to personalize it, it's a weird thing. Like, I used to always think, oh, I'm going to get, and this is weird for me to say, so, you know, bear with me, hang there with me. It was since I was a little girl, I used to be afraid to be shot in the head.
Okay.
I would always be afraid to be shot in the head, and I never sit in the center seat, in the back seat. Like, if I'm stuck in the back seat between people and I'm in the middle, I won't lean forward between the two front seats. Because somehow I feel I'm going to get shot in the head. I don't know where this thought comes from, where this fear comes from. It's very specific and very detailed.
Oh,
you know,
I feel you.
Once I watched that, you know, Super Soul Sunday, I was like, maybe that's how I died.
I feel you. I have this, not the same phobia, but I have, you know, I have those things that I think about. I lose my breath sometime whenever I think about drowning, but I can swim. You feel what I'm saying? And this is like I've told my mama this ever since I was, you know, young. Every year I have a dream that I'm in a war and I see the same people. I know their name in my dream, but I can't say it when I wake up. I can't call their names when I wake up. But I died in that war. And I have this dream every year, Charone. No lie, every year. And I only have it once a year.
Wow. See, and I don't understand how people can't believe in previous lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm being reincarnated. Here, there's that sound again. There's that noise. Oh, goodness. I don't even know if I'll be able to hear you. They've been working on...
No. Oh, you say you can't hear me, but I can hear you well.
Okay, because the outside is... They're outside my window working on the yard or the, you know, the apartment, the which is a good thing. I'm glad they cut the grass and stuff. I just don't want to hear it.
I got
so
you.
Anyway, so
you should be out. Hey, they said you should have your ass out lifting.
I know, right? I'm getting out there today. Trust and believe. I'm gonna be out there. You know, you get a little lazy once your bills is paid.
Oh yeah.
And you know, now you're just working for a little extra money.
Right.
So you get a little lazy. You know, it's not so determined. What was I gonna say? Oh, and there's this one story of the guy. Again, I'm so bad with names, but this guy, this like went kind of national. I mean, it just really was a big story that happened in the media. This guy, this little boy, he kept saying, you know, I was somebody else. He was telling his mom, I was somebody else. You know, and he's like, he's trying to describe his life to his mother. And he's naming, he's like, so he's watching TV, I think black and white movies. He's like, you know, I was in that movie or, you know, whatever the case be. He's like, take me home. Basically, he lived in Hollywood. When he seen a Hollywood sign, he was like, that's where I live. That's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So basically, you know, going through some pictures or going through something, and he sees this old black and white movie actor or whatever. And he's like, that's me. That's a picture of me, you know. Like, this little boy is telling people this is me.
So this is this is a story? This is a story?
This is what?
Somebody told his story?
No, yeah, this is a real thing that happened. Like, It's a boy that's like, I don't know if he was nowadays or the 70s, 60s, but it was modern time, you know what I'm saying? Little boy who kept telling his mom he was someone else and he wanted to go home. And as he began to describe his life, he's like, I was a dancer, I was an actor, I did this, I did that. You know, he was telling his life, and he even had details and stories of people that really literally happened, that there's no way this little boy could know these stories unless he was there, but he wasn't even born then.
Right.
To know the stories. And if there's a famous actor, you know, and they have pictures of him, and, you know, it was like the Ginger Rogers, Fred Astaire era, you know what I'm saying? He was an actor back then, and he had all these names and stories and stuff, but it was a little boy like nowadays that was like, hey, that's me.
You know, I want to, so, you know, and that's, I'm not going to say that's scary, because I think I'm going to try to find somebody that know a lot about the war and everything, and I can describe the uniforms. I can describe the type of vehicles I seen, you know, in this dream. And I want to see if they can, you know, tell me what era that was in. You know?
That would be weird to actually be able to pinpoint. Like, he was able to look at that picture and say, that's me.
Right.
Like, would that be kind of crazy and eerie to, like, go back to the actual war, the actual place? And, you know, like, if you had more memories, like this boy, and this is what you was talking about, forgetting as you age, you know, forgetting. And I always see, when I see babies, one, I know that they're connected to the heavenly realm, to the world that we're blind to now, you know, the spirit realm. Because when you see them, like, playing, and they're looking in the air, and they're cracking up, and their eyes is following something,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think they're able to see beings that we no longer can see. You know, and again, I do think that they remember and know, and they're very aware of areas that our mind has forgotten. You know, and so, like, here's a little boy who has realized, I think it's, as a little girl, if I would have tapped into that fear of being shot in the head, and I would have looked around me, or to see, like, you know, like, look at faces or names or be familiar, then I would probably be able to do the same thing he did. You know, so somehow he didn't forget. Now, if he would have kept all that oppressed all of his life, I think as an adult he would be like us, like, not be able to connect to his previous life,
right.
Or whatever. But because he, from a baby or from a child, when he first can start talking, was saying, you know, I was somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I think he has more detailed memories.
Right.
You know, he hasn't forgotten, and he kept his memories fresh. So, which is weird. I don't know if I would want to do that. I think that would be freaking scary.
No, but it would give you more insight on the path that you were taking, and it could just be, you know what I'm saying? Like I would want to know. I want to know. I really want to know. And now that I really do believe, when I say believe, I've been believing in reincarnation, but it's just I'm more interested in what was my path. What was I doing? Was I a bad person? Was I a good person? So, and going back to the baby thing, whenever I look at babies and I see how they, you know, Jamila used to laugh whenever I pretend like I hurt myself. You know, now that I think about that, it's like she was laughing at me because I was, you know, she was more than likely somebody else, and it was just funny to her that I was doing that shit to myself.
Yeah, I think, and I've heard that before, as far as babies knowing and understanding. There was one, and I watched an awful lot of documentaries apparently, but there was one documentary I was watching. They were talking about, you know, how I think it was, I don't know what I was watching actually when I seen this scene, but it was like a lady was talking about how she was grieving. Grandpa had died, or somebody had died, and the baby was there. The baby was like one, not talking yet, but the baby recognized the loss, you know. So she put her hand on her face, you know, the little baby put her hand on her face and looked her in the eyes, and she had this really sympathetic look. Like she understood and like she was comforting her. And they're saying how babies can't form their words, but they're saying they're communicating with us in their head, they're talking, but their words are not coming out formed like ours. They haven't quite grasped the language, but they know what they're saying and feeling, and they're very connected. And we need to know that, if nothing else, but for the purpose of teaching kids early. Like, we don't give kids enough credit, or babies, infants, enough credit. And there are people who have, and they have 2-year-olds that are reading now because they gave their child the benefit of the doubt and start teaching them at a super early age, whereas we want to wait, to teach them certain things. Mm-hmm. But they're human.
Right,
just
right.
like us. And they're sponges, they absorb knowledge, and so they're going to know what you give them.
That's right.
But yeah, I think babies do, like you were saying earlier, I think they do communicate. And it could be because they're still connected to their previous life.
Right.
It could be that they are still, this person,
Cause listen, I just can't believe that, a lot of kids, you can see a lot of kids, I can see a lot of kids, my kids' age, when they were smaller, and they just doing these great things. And I'm like, you know what? I couldn't have been that bad of a parent to where I didn't teach my kids how to damn build a spaceship. You know what I'm saying? These kids building.
You look at these kids out here doing stuff and you feel like a slacker. Like, where did I go wrong? Or you feel like the kids are slackers. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you know what? Is it? I always wondered, am I the only parent that thought, damn, is my child slow? Do I have a slow child? Because, my kids was walking at an early age. It was just certain things that they wasn't doing that I felt like they should have been doing at the age 2, 3, 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think as long as they were developing on an average level, I think those are going to be worries with any parent. And I think sometimes timelines get mixed up. One thing we expect them to be doing, and then certain things we expect them not to be doing that it's possible for them to be doing, but we don't put that expectation there. And then there's certain things that we expect. It's like girls potty train faster than boys and different things like that, but who the boy can't be potty trained at 1 year old,
Right.
I think we put limitations based on our understanding, based on our teaching, our training, our upbringing, the voices around us, and I'm guilty of being one of those voices for people. I have a cousin who has a little boy, and she started potty training him. I don't even think he was 1 year old, and she bought a potty. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, what? And I just, like, put those impossible limitations there. Like, why is he doing this? This is not even developmentally possible. And who am I to say what's possible?
Gotcha.
And how far and how fast this child can develop or get an understanding of certain concepts. Babies only know what you introduce them to. So, if she's introducing him to a potty at an early age, maybe he becomes potty trained sooner than the average child. You know what I'm saying? But, if she listened to me and my voice of reason, she wouldn't have a potty trained child right now.
Man, I know kids that's been introduced to potties, stools, toilets, whatever you want to call it, and they still won't take their ass to it, and they about grown.
That is the truth. So yeah, that is definitely the truth. And I guess it just depends on the child, and but I'm gonna tell you something about this conversation we just had today. Goodness, like, how do we go from, what did we start talking about podcasting? So how do we get here to potty training kids?
Because of their knowledge. We were talking about, I was telling you about the reincarnation, and we were talking about kids having memories.
I know how we got here. That was a rhetorical question.
Oh, okay. I thought you were for real.
No, but Yeah, that is a subject for me. Like, and I'm not even gonna get deep with you because I'm still kind of tapping into certain things. Like, I have, you know how Netflix has, it's a streaming, you know, um, it's a streaming, entity or whatever. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but you stream movies and whatever on it, right?
Right.
Well, there's a excuse me, there's a streaming thing called Gaia. Is it Gaia?
I don't know.
GAIA. You know what I'm talking about?
Hold up. Let me write this down. Say that. What's the name of it again?
It's GAIA. And like you go GAIA.com, and this particular streaming deal is pretty much anything dealing with spirituality, from energy healing to quantum physics, so many different things. So it talks about, God, I can't even explain it, but it is like the most, I think I pay like $10 a month for it, but I did the free trial and I never went back because I stay on here watching, it's pretty much documentaries and just different things. So you get the near-death experience documentaries. You get the previous life stuff. You get, it's so much stuff. And, they got like a whole yoga section too and all this stuff, whatever, a lot of meditation, a lot of stuff just kind of dealing with spirituality or going beyond, like universe stuff, like going beyond just what just with our little world in our mind, the box. It's jumping out of the box and seeing the universe for how big it is.
Right. I always say, explaining that what you tried to explain, I always say that I'm the type of person that think outside of the box that they told me to think outside of.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
right.
that's probably
outside of the box.
Yeah, that's probably a little thing I need to go and Google and see what's going on with it, because I like shit like that.
Listen, I tell you what, I don't know if I want to give you my login, but I give you my login. You can say, oh no, just get the free trial.
Yeah. I get the free trial.
Get the free trial. Check it out. I think you will love the videos. Because it's a whole streaming service, so it's like, you know how Netflix has the comedy section, the action, it's the same thing. It's like anything that you want to get into, to look at, like, you know how that show Ancient Aliens, it's not ancient, it's Ancient Civilization.
Yeah.
They have a show that's similar to Ancient Civilization, so you learn a lot. And, just, oh man, like, our universe is great big. You really won't be able to go back to the thinking, that you just, it's an eye opener.
Oh no. See that's what I was trying. I've been trying to tell people that, and that's like hair products. I'll say I'm gonna use hair products for an example on this. Hair product in the bottle, that's just in the bottle. Now once you put it on your hair and heat hit it, it starts activating. You know what I'm saying? It starts activating it. It moisturizes your hair. Go in and it start doing different things to your hair. So that's how it is with the mind. Once you put something in there, it activates something in your mind, and you're beginning to wipe out. You're beginning to forget about that old way of thinking, that inside the box thinking.
Right. Exactly. You had a good example with the hair product, because like when you think about a relaxer, that hair that got relaxed does not go, like, you might get some new growth, but that hair that was relaxed, it is permanently changed.
Right.
It doesn't go back to where it used to be. You have to cut that stuff out if you don't want it anymore.
There you go.
Cut it off or something, but it is permanently changed, straightened out, or what have you. So.
Hey, that's why I'm gonna tell you, and that's exactly why you had a lot of people that used to, a few years ago, people used to start popping up talking about that, they woke and all this stuff. That's because they was getting some, the internet started, they was opening up something on the internet and falling into that rabbit hole, and they felt like they had all the knowledge then. They, you know what I'm saying? They could tell you about this. They could tell you about that. They was like, oh, you shouldn't eat pork. You shouldn't eat lamb. You shouldn't eat this. This is that. It was just a whole bunch of stuff. But it was actually, they started activating their mind. See, this is what I mean when I say me coming into different form of knowledge now. This can't be it for me because I still have some more to learn. I still have more to do. And I done about ran out of body time. So I have to carry on in another body.
Yeah. To be continued.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, like phase 2. Or like when a book is done, you can't put another chapter in there. You just got to start a new book.
Right. So that's exactly it right there, man. But listen, so now I want to tell you. So had I told you, maybe I can get your consent now. Had I told you,
I figured it out about part of the way through it. Like, from the beginning. Like at first it was like, hey, what's up? It was a cool conversation. Then it was like, this dude is recording me.
So yeah, no, maybe I can get your consent now. Do I have your consent to use this great material?
I've been trying to get on forever. How long I've been begging to get? When you gonna let me on?
See, this is something I was telling my homeboy. I was like, look, man, I just can't call you and we have all this stuff set up because it ain't gonna flow right. You know what I'm saying?
It flows better.
And with him not knowing, I'll get the best conversation. I was talking to him the other day, and he was just, it was flowing so smooth with him. And then I was like, man, I need that kind of stuff on the podcast. And he was like, yeah, man, shit, when you want to call and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I can't do that. I'm just going to have to call you one day when I'm doing my podcast and we jump into it. Anything that you want me to take out, I can take out, but I can't just do it. I just can't say.
It's cool. I've been trying to get on your podcast, man. I was like, well, I'm not worthy. You talk about, do I have friends that have podcasts? Yes, I do. Do I have friends that have podcasts that let me on? I don't know.
So listen, go ahead and plug your podcast. Let these people know where they can come here, hear more of you talking, your good talk, getting into things. Because I think I told you before, you articulate things. I like the way you articulate things, the way you explain things, the way you talk so fluently about things. So, let them know where they can come hear more of you and, all that good stuff. By the way, hold up. By the way, y'all, remember on I think it was Unit 7 of my podcast, I was talking about Chef Charone. This is Chef Charone. So, all right, Charone, go ahead and let them know where they can see you at.
Okay, well, my podcast is called My Humble Opinion with Chef Charone. So you can find me I'm on Anchor. This is what my podcast is on, Anchor. But I'm also on 7 other podcast outlets. 2 of the main ones, Google Podcasts and Spotify. Or 2, you can find me. I'm trying to get on Apple Apple Podcasts, but I'm not there yet. But so those are the 2 of the main ones you can find me on. Also, let's see what the podcast about. My Humble Opinion kind of explains itself. Just my opinion, like just how we were having conversation today. It's like I'm just talking about subjects and things that are kind of near and dear to me, or just that I have an opinion about. One, that I am 45 years old, so this is kind of the base of the podcast. I'm a 45-year-old woman living in Atlanta, dating in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's something you wanted me to get on, that dating in Atlanta thing. We're gonna have to chill on that one.
Listen, it's crazy. So, I have changed my views. I grew up, Christian religion. I've changed my views, and I'm challenging those views on my show. Also, I'm not political. I've never been, but in the political climate that we're in now, I'm starting to have to be, especially at my age, and just learning my responsibility in those areas. So it's like, so my podcast will be full of some of everything. My humble opinion, like I said, if you go to Facebook, I have a My Humble Opinion fan page or like page, and that's where I'll be posting my that's why I'll be posting the new episodes and everything. So you can click the link and listen to the ones I've already got started. And it's a new podcast. I have I think 4 episodes or something like that. So just click the link, and then the first one, the intro, will kind of tell you what I'm about. Kind of give you a feel, and then we go from there. But that's where you can find me.
Cool. Well, I'm literally about to push this stop button, but I will most definitely no, as a matter of fact, I'm going to end the phone call with you, and then I'm end it. So I appreciate the 45 minutes. I appreciate them 45 minutes of good conversation. All right. I'm gonna call you back though.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, that went a whole lot better than I thought it was. But look, y'all can catch me. Don't forget that Culture is the best fucking podcast in South Georgia, period. Even though my humble opinion is in Georgia, but I gotta claim that spot. I'm joking, Charone, because I know you're gonna hear this, afterwards. But yeah, Culture is the best podcast, man. Y'all make sure you listen, you tune in, you email me if you have to with topics, opinions, anything that I said today within this hour and a half. You let me know what time it is. If you disagree, if you agree. Just anything, man. I just need the feedback. I'm putting in this work, and I just need to know what's happening out there. So, the email, by the way, is Jesslissen, Jesslissen @gmail.com. Hit me up. Let me know what's happening. Again, man, look, I appreciate it. Peace.